Welcome to the Y Solutions Hot Work Safety Training. My name is Billy Campbell. I am the Director of Safety. Here is your training. This program applies to all employees on the job site. The Hot Work program contains the minimum requirements needed to safely perform hot work. Since every situation is different, no one checklist will cover all precautions needed. Therefore, it is essential that management and employees study the situations in detail, plan the course of action, applying all reasonable precautions, and execute the job safely. First option is to eliminate the need for hot work. In cases where this is not feasible, all precautions shall be taken to conduct the hot work in a manner that does not constitute a general hazard or fire explosion hazard. Supervisor, competent person, or site safety will visually inspect the entire area, 35 feet radius, where the hot work is to be performed and ensure that the surrounding 35 feet is clear of all flammable and combustible material or covered, protected by fire blankets if not able to be removed. Prepare to approve the Y Solutions Hot Work Permit or General Contractor's Required Hot Work Permit. Ensure the fire watch understands their responsibilities and that they are trained in the use of fire extinguishers and summoning emergency help. The hot work operator. Ensure that the surrounding 35 feet is clear and remains clear of all flammable and combustible material or covered, protected by fire blankets if material is stationary. Ensure that all hot work is performed safely and within the scope of the approved Y Solutions or General Contractor Hot Work Permit. Follow all steps and the procedures of the Y Solutions or General Contractor approved Hot Work Permit. Be constantly aware of surrounding conditions. Shut down hot work operations when any of the permit conditions change. Firewatch. Relieve themselves of all operational duties and monitors hot work area for fires. Trained on the proper use of the fire extinguisher and putting it into operation if required. Trained in the means to summon help should an emergency arise. Remain in the area for 30 minutes after the hot work is completed to monitor for fire. If the general contractor requires 1 hour, then follow the general contractor's guidance. Signs off on the permit at the end of the 30 minutes. Definitions. Hot work. Any work that may generate a source of ignition. Type 1 hot work. Any use of an open flame or visible sparks, such as welding, cutting, grinding. Any visible spark producing work. Type 2 hot work. No open flame. Use of electrical equipment, tools. Air activating tools. Opening an electrical panel in a level 1 area. Sandblasting. Bandsaws. Impact wrenches. Conduit threads. Jackhammer. Sump pumps, portable engines, any high temperature producing equipment, TIG welding, and soldering. Firewatch. Employee which has been trained in the use of fire extinguisher within the past year, been trained in the job site's methods to be used to sound an alarm in the event of a fire, has been relieved of all operational duties in order to observe the hot work for fire prevention, and remains at the site for 30 minutes after completion of hot work. Flammable liquids. Liquid which has a flash point below 100 degrees Fahrenheit or has been heated to within 30 degrees Fahrenheit of its flash point. Hazardous hot work atmosphere. Atmosphere where a concentration greater than 0% LEL, 22% of oxygen, and visibly dusty environments. Firewatch will not be smoking or joking, not talking on their cell phone. They are there to prevent any type of potential fires. Hot work safety procedures permits. Hot work permits will be issued during normal business hours. However, permits may be issued and/or carried over during off-shift hours. Permits written or carried over during these off-shift hours should be held to as few as possible due to the limited support available in the event of an emergency. The individual that has issued the permits must be present within the job site during the duration of the permit. If the approver of a hot work permit must leave the job site, they are responsible for either closing the permits that they approved or have someone relieve them of that status. The relief person for the permits must approve the permits before the original approver leaves the job site. Warning: a worker performing hot work in an area that has been designated safe for hot work without a permit is not relieved of their responsibilities for ensuring that the area is safe for hot work. Hot work safety procedures. The following conditions must be maintained in these areas. Number 1, no combustibles or flammables within 35 feet. Number 2, inspected charged 10-pound ABC extinguisher is present. Permits will only be issued immediately before the work is to be performed. Any jobs that are delayed or interrupted for more than 20 minutes will require a re-inspection. Warning: no permit will be issued before an inspection of the area is conducted by the approving personnel to ensure all safety precautions have been taken. The work has been discussed with the employees in the area and the work is deemed safe by all affected employees. Approving authorities and employees may recommend additional reasonable precautions. Only trained, approved personnel may issue hot work permits. Any conditions required on the permit that cannot be met requires the Director of Safety's approval and signature on the permit. Hot work safety procedures, hot work safety requirements. The hot work permit must be approved by the supervisor competent person or site safety. A fire watch is required while all hot work is in progress and 30 minutes after hot work has been completed. All wall and floor openings must be covered with fire blankets to prevent sparks from penetrating adjacent areas. All combustibles and flammables will be moved to a minimum 35 feet from the hot work to be performed. If not possible, the combustibles and flammables will be protected by either number 1, covered by a fire blanket, and or number 2, by wetting down the surrounding 35 feet area. Caution: when an area has been wet down, personnel must be protected from possible shock. Prior to hot work, all U-drains, sumps, ductworks, dikes, and conveyor systems in the 35 feet vicinity of work will be emptied, cleaned, and all openings will be covered with a fireproof tarp. Any sprinkler and or fixed extinguishing systems in the area must be operational. An adequate means of fire extinguishment, 10-pound ABC minimum, will always be on hand during all hot work. Note: permanently mounted extinguishers are not to be used as fire watch extinguishers. Hot work of any type will not be done on equipment containing a flammable material, flash point less than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or a material within 30 degrees Fahrenheit of its flash point until the equipment is emptied, cleaned, properly prepared. General safety guidelines. Arc welding will be conducted in an enclosed booth wherever possible. Welding shields will be used if conditions allow to protect workers in the area from the glare of welding and prevention of ignition of walls, partitions, ceilings, or roof of combustible construction. Shields will be at least 1 foot off the ground to allow adequate ventilation. All precautions will be taken for protection from metal fumes. Ventilation and or the appropriate respirators will be used if conditions are required. Note: if the space is less than 10,000 cubic feet per welder, or the ceiling height less than 16 feet in height, mechanical ventilation is required. Permit issuance and closure. The person doing the job is responsible for completing the permit. The supervisor, competent person, or site safety assures that the proper steps have been taken to allow safe work. After the area preparations are complete, the supervisor, competent person, or site safety approves the permit by signing it. The person who approves the permit must be the supervisor, competent person, or site safety, or the qualified designee such as the department managers, program manager, or superintendent. The key is that the person who approves the permit must be fully knowledgeable of the status of operations in the area at that time. The approved hot work permit must be posted at the work site. The issued hot work permit is void if any one of the following conditions occurs. Number 1, job site emergency alarm. Number 2, job site evacuation caused by weather or other circumstances. Number 3, the permit time expires. Number 4, the department supervisor or approval personnel for that permit leaves the job site and a replacement is not found. Number 5, if area conditions change and create a potential hazard or the nature of the hot work changes that deviates from the already approved permit, i.e., requiring tools that are not listed in the permit. Number 6, if the fire watch or any other employee shuts the job down because of unsafe practices, acts, or conditions. Cancellation of the hot work permit. The maximum authorized duration is 1 production shift. The original permit must be used to approve the hot work for the next shift if this is needed. To do this, the permit must be reapproved by the supervisor, competent person, or site safety if the permit is to extend beyond the original shift. No permits are allowed to continue for a period longer than 24 hours. After the hot work task has been completed, the fire watch is to patrol the area for 30 minutes, looking for any conditions that may result in a fire. At the end of the 30 minutes, the fire watch will then sign off on the permit, starting the time of day, and give the hot work permit to the supervisor, competent person, or site safety. The supervisor, competent person, or site safety closes the permit by conducting a final inspection of the hot work site. The permits are sent to the Director of Safety to be filed. Personal protective equipment. Helmets or hand shields with the proper tinting shade up to 5 or automatic must be used when arc welding cutting. PPE must be in good condition, non-flammable, made of material which is insulator for heat and electricity. Goggles or suitable eye protection must be used in conditions which necessitate. Respirators meet NIOSH specifications are required when ventilation is not sufficient. Long sleeves for everyone on the job. Welding gloves for welders. This is the Wise Solutions Hot Work Permit. At the conclusion of this training, please get with me and I will send. Recommend have several copies in your trucks to fill out, complete, and have in your area when the work is being conducted. Send the completed hot work permits to me to maintain on file. Recommend after you send in your daily reports. This concludes your training. Please make sure I have you down as completing by an email and I will produce your certificate of training.